got an opportunity here to do a little singing, and this is something that doesn't always happen at these gatherings. We did it a little last time, and that was really fun. And we obviously have some people who have some very interesting ability to put words together for songs. And so we've got this Glory, Glory, We Are Wolbrinks. Oh my goodness. And then Behold Our Family Tree, and that's sung To My Country 'Tis of Thee. We have an addition, and we'll be closing with that today. Evidently, Grandma Wolbrink's favorite song was "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus," and that was also sung at her funeral. And so we're going to be closing with that, or at least the music part here. There was a piano evidently that had been available, but it isn't here anymore. So we can make music on our own, right? Right. Okay. Now most of you know the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and but these are with a little different words. And as I was singing this morning, and I thought, Glory, Glory, We Are Wolbrinks. How do I take that exactly? But let's go ahead and start with those, and you know the tune, and just watch the other words. You guys have no, oh, they need music here. Who's got the words? There's some extra flyers. Adrian, you got some? You want to get one? Okay, there's one. Anybody else need music? Okay, they're over there. Okay. Because they're really fun words to sing, so you don't want anybody left out. Okay. So you're all set? You got your singing voices now? Your hamburgers digested and everything? Okay, here we go. Our eyes have seen the growing of the mighty Wolbrink land. They are living now in many states spread out across the land. Our family tree has rooted and is making quite a stand. Our tribe is marching on. Glory, glory, we are Wolbrinks. Glory, glory, we are Wolbrinks. Glory, glory, we are Wolbrinks. Our heritage is strong. You know, we're pretty good. We're not bad at all. Good. Now, this next one has got several verses, but I think we want to sing them all. But you just have to kind of work the words in. There's a couple phrases that are just a little sneaky, but not too bad. And so I think we can get them together. And you know what? Nobody is judging our performance. So we can, if we put a little something different in there, that is just fine. I kind of like that. Yes?
Why don't we all stand up?
Oh, that's a good idea. Go ahead and stand. If you're able, let's stand. And this is to the tune of My Country 'Tis of Thee. All right. Behold our family tree, sweeping till all agree. Of Thee we sing. When folks see it all, their names in Christ. this hymn. And I'm thinking let's sing the first and maybe the last verse of "'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus." And what a neat thing that this was a favorite hymn. And this is so special. I've always appreciated this one too. I did happen to look down there when the copyright date is, 1910. So it isn't an old hymn. And so she was maybe even a little revolutionary in liking such a new copyrighted hymn. Who knows? All right. "'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take Him at His word, just to rest upon His promise, just to know thus saith the Lord. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him, how I prove Him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. I'm so glad I learned to trust Him, precious Jesus, Savior, friend. And I know that Thou art with me, will be with me to the end. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him, how I prove Him o'er and o'er. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. And we'd say in our church, and all God's people said, Amen. Be seated. I don't know if we're playing yet.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Fran. Yes, Fran, thanks.
Thank you, Fran, for leading us. At this time, we have Deb Wells here to read a little poem that she better tell the history about.
Okay, I was going through some old papers, and this is a poem that I think has been read at this reunion before, but I just thought it was really a cool poem. It was written by Aunt Gertrude for Pa. It was in honor of Pa and Ma is what it's called, and it was read at their 50th anniversary. So anyway, it's kind of cool. Okay, in honor of Pa and Ma. When Jacob was a little boy, on the dikes of Holland he played with joy. When 8 years old, he sailed the sea, a citizen of the United States to be. A little girl named Hattie Brower, in Marion County, Iowa, was a flower. In a covered wagon to Dakota she came. Parents, brothers, and sisters did the same. When Hattie was big, she worked in a store. She sold the goods and swept the floor. One day Jacob came to buy some candy. He thought the new flirt was pretty handy. This man and maid exchanged a greeting, and Sunday night went to CE meeting. Horse and buggy was a means of travel. The roads were dirt or mud, and not gravel. Now Jacob could use the hammer and square, and built some very fine houses here and there. One day he looked over a quarter section of land and said to himself, I'll take command. This land is really nice, a nice location. I'd like to make it my habitation. So on a hill he planted a tree and built a house with rooms just 3. Hattie had consented Jacob's wife to be. The wedding day was February 18, 1903. The young folks said, we'll chivalry. They were also happy, don't you see? In the group was 7 boys who planned to make just lots of noise. Across the new roof, they dragged a log chain. It made some noise. It made more noise than any rain. So this handsome young couple, they settled down and were friends to all the county and town. One day, to this home came a little boy. His name is Richard, their pride and joy. Then came Charles, Sweet William, and Garrett. With 4 little chatters, there was no need for a parrot. The 5th little child was also a son. They did not think long, his name was John. And then arrived a darling girl. Her name was Nellie, and she had a curl. The 7th child was another brother. Gideon was good, so little more bother. Katie and Sarah were 2 little sisters. Unlike the boys in church, they were twisters. A few years later, there was 1 baby more. For want of a name, he was called Jacob Jr. Ma cared for the children and scrubbed the floor. Pa worked in the fields to keep the wolf from the door. As the family grew, the house grew too. Pa neatly would add a room or 2. Each child had his work and each had his play. For all of them was many a happy day. There was order and fun around the table. Garrett could eat potatoes more than William was able. To town and to church it was quite far. So Pa, he bought a Flanders car. Pete and Bill on Sunday had a rest. Also Frank and Fanny had done their best. Not sure. I heard of those people, but I don't really know. Okay. Let's see, where's that? Okay. On the Flanders car, that carbide light didn't shine very far in a dark night. A few little hills it did climb and high, but sometimes the fence posts didn't fly by. Okay. The Flanders were traded for a Studebaker. It was splendid, 7-person taker. In 1917, there has been no better maker, so Pa always trades for another Studebaker. Now all the children from their nest have flown to various places to make a home of their own, excepting young Junior, who is doing his best to make your declining years the happiest. And now, dear folks, before we end, you have been a blessing to many a friend. You are blessed with 10 children and 28 grandchildren in accord. Your family you raised in the fear of the Lord. When the weather was fair or when it was cool, Ma taught her class in Sunday school. Pa served his place in Harrison Consistory. Thus, you have reached your golden anniversary. Now the children are grown. They covet your prayers for your journey in life, its joy and its cares. You're a blessing to them. They are a blessing to you. So we help one another as we journey through. May God bless us today as in the past, as all cares on the Savior we cast. In the ways of the world may none of us roam, but be gathered together in our heavenly home.
Thank you, Jeff, for finding that and sharing that with us. Gary has a letter he'd like to read to the group.
Okay. John's getting, Arlen's getting a couple out there that might want to hear this, but anyway, it's a very special letter, a couple of letters that Connie ran across here the other day. I'll wait just a minute. Anyway, this is a letter from Gideon, and anyway, it's the original letter here. He had Parkinson's, and it's a little hard to read, and so Connie typed it up. So then maybe it won't stumble quite as much, but anyway, it's. I'll start with the letter, and it says, Wellsburg, Iowa, April 22, 1992. This Dear Gary, Connie, and Sons, I have been intending for some time to get the enclosed letter to you. It is a pretty special letter. As I looked at it recently, I noticed that Brother Garrett wrote it just 1 year before his death, the day after my birthday. Coincidence? And the heartache of Roger's illness is close. There is also the depth of joy in sharing as a family. You need not return this letter, but I would like that the whole family be able to share that, Garrett's family. But I will leave that up to you. I think it has been a tough weather for flying. I've got a lot of rain this last storm, but only snow in the air. It was worth your way, I think. And love and best wishes, Uncle Gideon and Lorraine. And then the letter that he sent, anyway, that written by Dad, was in cursive, so Connie typed that one too. I stumbled over that one a little bit too. But anyway, that one's in Stickney, South Dakota, July 27, 1985. And it says, Dear Gideon and Lorraine, this is Sunday evening, and we'll write you folks a few lines. May not get it finished as I may go to the church in Aurora Center this evening. It's been a beautiful day here today, partly cloudy and not too hot for a real nice summer day. Our summer has been good so far. I'm all by myself this evening. Part of the family was over this weekend as the Nightums had a cousin's party at Leonard and Terrell Wines last night. So Gary and Connie and family and Pat and Jim and family stayed here last night. It was fun, but almost too much excitement for an old man. They pretty well take care of themselves, and that helps. They all headed back this PM. None of my family lives real far away. So they come down quite often, which I really enjoy. Some of us went to the UB church in town this AM. Ben and Ruth Nynum are here Friday evening from our Nynum side. And had a gathering at the Senior Citizens Building. Ben had a stroke some 8 years ago and is still quite handicapped. His one side and his speech. Adrian Drummond was there too, but Adrian is not very good. As we get older, the problems do show up, but I think we should be thankful for getting old. A lot don't have this privilege, and if we have reasonably good health, we should thank God for this. I have been blessed with pretty good health as of late. Roger was able to go to the cousin's party, which he had been looking forward to for some time. He is doing reasonably well, but he gets very tired. He is taking a lot of pills. He says there's no way he can get along without them. And that doesn't look very good. We pray God that He may give him strength and faith, and all of us for whatever faces us. It is not easy. But we have to try and trust in for God, whatever is in store for us. I talked to Bill Hargens last night, and he said there was a lady in town yesterday who used to live in the Aurora Center area. He couldn't think of her name, but Esther Hillman Miller taught her in Aurora Center, and it was Beatrice Sluter. I don't know, anybody know who Beatrice Sluter was? Do you know, Sarah, who Beatrice Sluter? But it doesn't really matter, but...
She was Nellie's friend, Sarah.
Oh, Nellie's friend? Okay. Anyway, I would have liked to have met her, or like to meet her, he said. She asked Nellie, and maybe she went there, so may get some more information. And Richard informed me the other morning of the family reunion, the 1st of August, and he figured I was to serve as chairman, as it was William's turn. Didn't quite follow that, but anyway. I talked with some of the others, but don't think too much planning has to be done. So there really doesn't seem to be any changes. We did decide on a definite place for supper the night before, but the chuck wagon in Blankton was suggested. We hope you folks can come. And then Monday morning, I went to the Lutheran Center last night, had coffee with Richard and Nellie. Beatrice Sluter did stop there. And he is SA, there's a long pause there. As I was writing, there was a knock on the door. One of my customers, and now it is noon. I don't remember what I was going to say to finish the sentence. And then he goes on to say, she doesn't get over how much the country has changed. I guess he's talking about Beatrice Sluter again. Anyway, if you have gone over 50 years, there is a picture in your mind, yet, but in the length of time, things change. No. Just got the mail, and the family book was there from David. He had a letter enclosed. Richard mentioned the Wolbrink Heritage book, which they ordered. This is also with it. He said, I think it says Emma. I'm not sure who that is. Is there an Emma? It looked like Emma by the writing, but Emma would not be able to attend the reunion. She had first planned on it. Then he closes by saying, this got longer than I had intended, but better close for now. May find you folks well, your brother Garrett. But anyway, we thought it was kind of a special letter. And because Gideon wanted us to share it, thought it might be appropriate for today, but I'll lay the letter over here, if anybody want to see it. Also got permission to fly model airplanes. I'm kind of into model airplanes. Out at the Corsica airport after we're done here. Anybody would like to, check it out? Not a big deal.
Thank you, Gary, for sharing that with us. And I was just kind of wondering what time is flight scheduled? Okay. I think this, one was mentioned, Joyce mentioned to me that there was 2 pictures that she had in Flemington last night. And one picture was when she was a baby.
She looking for her?
Yeah,
I have.
Mary has them, I guess.
They're in, yeah, I have them. I took them along. I saw them there.
Well, thank you.
Joyce forgot to pick them up last night, and so, okay?
There's a pair of glasses that were left on the registration table, so if you think they might be yours, check it out. That comes from the registrars.
Last night, or
They're here now.
they're laying there now? Okay, they were left last night. Oh, they're left here from today, okay. Okay, so you're missing a pair of glasses, so I have one short thing, and this is just my own personal kind of thing. I've always wondered, how many states have the Jacob and Hattie Wolbrink family live in today? The descendants?
Your territories count?
Yes. Okay, I'll read off the list. I know where, I think I know where most of the first cousins live, my first cousins. I'll read off the list that I have, and if there's any that where your relative, where the Wolbrink relatives are living at the present time, and I don't list, I just kind of like to know, just for, yeah, it's my own personal thing. South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Maryland, the Virgin Islands, New York, Georgia, Alabama, California, Oregon, Washington. We have some that are part-timers in snowbirds, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Virginia.
Colorado.
All right, now, hold on just a second, I can't write that fast. Okay, Colorado, Virginia, Colorado, Kentucky,
New Jersey.
Oklahoma.
She's Wolverine.
Yeah, we're South Carolina now,
Not Georgia.
not Georgia.
Okay, is there anybody in Georgia at the present time then?
No, they all live.
They chased him out? They were correct. Thank you.
Yeah, but
That's right, Troy's in Florida, yeah, Troy and his family.
Full-timers in
Area?
Did you say Michigan?
no, he didn't.
And then I have another one.
Because we're last.
I sincerely apologize to the people, the residents of Michigan. I hope you accept my apology. And you were not last today.
No, I have another Tennessee.
We would have.
Our daughter lives in Tennessee.
Tennessee?
And is Missouri on the list? Paul's
No.
daughter lives in Missouri. And Dirk lives in Germany. They like to add countries. Why not? Why stop at cities? Yeah, it's New York.
Yeah.
Connecticut.
I thought he just wanted first.
No, he said he wanted.
No, Connecticut. Anybody else?
How many states is that?
Lots.
What did Mike say?
Somebody help him, Mike. We got kind of standing around on our fingers and no paper shoes. Yes. Now all this talk, I forgot what I counted. 27 states. 27. Remarkable, I think. And David mentioned, you know, it started out with 2 and there's 200 and some, I forget what the figure was, but yeah. Does the committee have anything else they want to say? The committee was the Aunt Katie's family, Andy and Marilyn, Uncle Garrett's family, and John's family. And we haven't heard much from a couple of the committee members. And I'm looking at my sisters.
Really?
Usually they got plenty to say.
We said it all before.
Okay.
Tell you afterwards, we'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll hear a lot about it later. And this baby thing that we mentioned last night, that comes up quite often. You're the baby of the family, you're the spoiled one, you're the little one, you're the little one. Well, I learned to live. Yeah, I got one. And I'm going to give it up here real quick. Oh, we got to have, who's going to do it for next year and 3 years from now? Next year was just the annual reunion, and raise your hand if you volunteer. I think we used to go by order, didn't we not?
Didn't you say last night it's going to be in Michigan?
In 2020, the committee, if they decide Michigan, well, I guess that's now, who wants to be on the committee? Michigan.
We're moving.
Just for the week when we show up, is that what it is? Yeah, isn't there a schedule that we?
Who did it last year? Who did the last?
How's the memory for those last year? We did it
We
last.
just had the little one. Was it Lois?
I think Lois, because we did it 2 years ago.
Okay, I think Lois did it last year.
Okay, Lois?
The next in line from the top now.
We're actually,
Richard and then.
for next year, just a small one. Maybe Charles,
Charles?
for just a small one, right, Francis? Francis. Francis.
Sure, you usually have this all figured out. Now, Louis then. Dr. Charles next year. Okay, thank you. How about the 3-year? Do you have that figured out too?
He just said.
Great. We don't have to do all this haggling and whatever.
Well, I suppose it'll be Uncle Richard's family, and our family, and Uncle Junior's family, if we going 3 again, right?
Okay, so that'd be Uncle Richard? I think in that book there is, but I didn't study that. Uncle Richard and Aunt Nellie? And Uncle Junior. And this will be for the 2020 reunion in Michigan.
Then Paul better be in charge.
The Gideon Wolbrink family will be in charge when it's in Michigan. Right, Joe?
You know, this group talks and talks and talks, but when you ask for volunteers, this is the quietest group I've
It is. They're all hard of hearing, then they can't hear the question.
Sure, Uncle Gideon's family for the big one.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
Right? You haven't done it, we did it with you, and you haven't done it since then. And I think everybody's done it twice now.
I suppose we're plotting against.
I think it's here for sure, and then wherever you go from here. Yeah.
So, what'd you come up with?
Well, there was, they always go like top and bottom, I think.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I did.
That would be, was like 9 years ago.
Let's put Dr. Dan Wolbrink in charge.
There you go. Which one?
No, both of them. They can split.
You can't hear it. Nothing's going
We just did. Green and Sarah get this figured out.
John would have come out and you knew it would have been real.
That's right.
There were payouts in there somewhere.
Sigh of relief. There's three that, and Nellie's family, Uncle Richard's family, and Uncle Gideon's family. For 2020. I guess that's a committee decision. If it's going to be in Michigan, that's a committee decision. Just like Plainton County Corsica's committee decision. That brings us to the close of our structured reunion. Simply, not really structured. I got one of those comment I got to make. We have a little meeting here Monday afternoon. And we were sitting at the committee and, we were having a meeting and, well, we kind of got to thinking, the three that are on the committee this year aren't known for being the most organized in the group. And then the thought had entered my mind at one time, but then one of the in-laws of the committee member said, well, we got to have a theme for our committee. And she said, yeah, I thought of it last night. Wing it. And her first name is Connie. I'm not going to say any last name. Thank you, Connie. All right. I'd like to try one other thing. When I got here this morning and I didn't help set up the tables, we have 12 tables set up here. And I see that works out just right for, a lot of times we get into a group and we sit in a group and we stay in that group the whole afternoon or evening, never get to visit with some of the others. We go home after the meeting, or we go home after the union. I never got to talk to that one, I never got to see that. What I'd like to try, is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. If you're born in those months, that month, whatever month you are, go to that table, and if you're the only one that happened to have a December birthday, you may move to a January or a November. There will be cake and ice cream, or I shouldn't say cake, take that back, I don't think the ladies bake cake, there's bars, right, cookies? And there will be ice cream, if the store has to run out after that. So, January, February,
Go watch the plane.
March, April, May, June. Check out your table and we'll go from there. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Alan said he was going to turn his machine in. Before he does, I want everybody to give a round of applause for the committee for the wonderful job they've done.
We had to come and look inside.
Reported that there's quite a conversation still going on.
Well, I think they're headed out now, they should be, but please, don't wait any longer.
Does anybody have to be, that they're in a real big hurry, they gotta get out of here, or that they're leaving, they wanna leave? Okay, well, then, Mary Ann said we should just start.
Please, yes, absolutely, they would want us to.
Okay, well, we'll start like an opening prayer, and when our kids were growing up, Sunday afternoon, the Sunday noon meal was when after they had learned the Lord's Prayer, they took turns. We had to keep track of who had the Lord's Prayer, and they would lead the Lord's Prayer for Sunday noon. So will say the Lord's Prayer, and then we have some younger ones in here. Will they say the table prayer when the Lord's Prayer is finished? And we can all follow, we can all say that too. Okay? Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
come, Lord.
Jesus, be our guest. Let these gifts to us be blessed.
All right, I think, ladies, are you ready? This is all ready?
And Sarah, you should. You lead, and you can do it too. So since you want to head out. I didn't even realize it was wrong.